Hi YouTube, and a warm welcome to my channel. This video is about a trip I did in early June 2021 together with my daughter Cecilia and my son Marius. Cecilia and myself drove on my bike from Oslo to Bergen, where Marius had just bought a new apartment, and we crossed the mountain to help him move. The trip from Oslo to Bergen is quite long, 520 kilometers, so there was no time for explorations or detours. We stopped to make dinner at a dam on the mountain, but followed the main road and didn't plan for anything special, except getting there before nightfall. After moving and the mandatory trip to IKEA, we had a day and a half to explore the west. Marius joined on his bike and we visited the UNESCO-protected fjords. We drove the Norwegian scenic route over AURLANDSFJELLET, and we stopped at some cool locations. If you're interested in riding and discovering what Norway can offer, why don't you like and subscribe, grab a cup of coffee, and join us. After almost 80 kilometers, first on road 857, shortly on E16 and then road 7, we had our first stop at the waterfall STEINDALSFOSSEN near NORDHEIMSUND by the Hardanger fjord. The waterfall is one of the most visited in Norway. The reason is that there is a path behind the waterfall and you can walk behind it without getting wet. And of course, it looks great. It's truly an Instagram-friendly place to visit. Next up is lunch. After the waterfall, we had a quick stop in NORWEGIAN to buy some food, and we drove off to find a place to eat. Or, more correctly, I had a suggestion. Since our family roots are from a farm in Hardanger near Fyksesund, just a few kilometers from here, I was in the area last summer with the other half of our family and got to explore the surroundings and visited the farm where there still live people with our family name. We deviated from Road 7 and had our lunch by the cute lake I found last summer called Skårsvatnet, or the Goldfish Lake. This is the only place in Norway where you can find the species called golden eyed in the wild. They were brought here from Bergen more than 100 years ago, in 1914, by a visiting doctor that was in the area to map the tuberculosis situation. After the Goldfish Lake, we got back to Road 7 at the Fyksesund bridge, and we followed scenic route Hardanger along the fjord towards GUDVANGEN. From there to Voss, where we had a quick pit stop before we headed towards GUDVANGEN and the UNESCO-protected and very beautiful Nærøyfjorden. Gudvangen is not only a beautiful place between high steep mountains, but it's also the innermost place in the UNESCO-protected Nærøyfjord. You can also visit the Viking village called Viking Valley, but we wanted to see the fjord and we followed the secret narrow road 241 along the fjord towards Bakka. Just turn right before the Vikings and the tunnel, drive through the old part of Gudvangen, climb the sand dunes, drive through the narrow tunnel, and voila! Enjoy the scenery. After a short break in the sun, it was time to move on. Of course, after we had crossed another bucket list item off our list. From Gudvangen we continued to Flom, where we stopped at a grocery shop to buy something we could prepare for dinner. From here we could of course have continued through AURLANDSFJELLET using the longest vehicle tunnel in the world, the 24 kilometers long Lærdal tunnel. But this is only interesting the first couple of times you do it. In this weather, it was far more appealing to drive over it. On top of the tunnel, you'll find one of the 18 Norwegian scenic routes, AURLANDSFJELLET. The Norwegian Road Administration has elected 18 different routes in Norway that they consider scenic. Of course, we have more of them, but these 18 are chosen to represent the variety in the Norwegian nature and landscape. They are alternatives to the main road, which means less traffic, better views, and the roads are often great attractions by themselves. If you embark on AURLANDSFJELLET from Aurlandsvangen, as we did, you will first climb some amazing hairpins up to the viewpoint Stegastein. From here you will get an incredible view of the Aurlandsfjord. Continuing over the mountain, you will pass the tree line as you climb upwards to the highest point, which is 1,300 meters above sea level. The view and sights are equally beautiful when you start descending towards Lærdal. It's not as steep as climbing up on the other side, so that's why it makes more sense to drive this direction. In Valley of Lærdal, we decided to set camp and make dinner before the sun crawled down behind the mountain. We had after all ridden 263 kilometers. As you can see on the video, we found a great camp spot near the river. We mounted our hammocks and had started to cook our tour gourmet when the landowner appeared. But in Norway we have something called the Outdoor Recreation Act. That basically allows you to camp anywhere as long as you're not camping on cultivated land and if you're 150 meters away from the nearest house or cabin. We were unfortunately a bit closer to an empty cabin. But the owner was cool about it and he let us stay, as long as we didn't share the location on any social platform, since he didn't want this to be something public. So, the location is... Yeah, that stupid sound effect was an attempt to hide the fact that we don't have any more footage from that evening. And speaking of footage, you might have seen the GoPro 360 camera on a monopod that has appeared in the video a couple of times. We had great expectations, but when we came home, it turned out that we only had some useless super low resolution video to show for. But since Marius now was turning towards Bergen again, and Cecilia and myself towards Oslo, this strange looking shot is all we have from our departure. Marius chose the quickest route to Bergen. He followed E16 all the way and was home after some 200 kilometers, or 2.5 to 3 hours ride. Cecilia and I had some 320 kilometers to go in the other direction, but we also did some sightseeing along the way. We quickly deviated from E16 and drove the historic road 630, which among other places goes to the beautiful Borgund Stave Church. We switched to road 52 over Hemsedal, onto road 7 from Gol to Hønefoss, and finally E16 and E18 on the final stretch to Oslo. While you are looking at the footage from the Hemsedal Mountains on the road 52, I would like to use the opportunity to, first of all, thank Marius and Cecilia for doing this road trip with me, but also thank you
for hanging around to the end. This is the first motorcycle video I've put together, but there will be more from the trips I did in 2021. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, share your thoughts in a comment below, or consider subscribing if you want to see more. And as a final comment from me, the area we have ridden through has so much to offer, both when it comes to locations and great roads between them. I've been in the area many times before, so we didn't stop on all of them. But if you want tips about great motorcycle roads and cool location for bikers, check out my website bucketlistnorway.com. Here I'm in the process of webifying my really long bucket list of roads and locations in Norway. Take care and get out on the road.